Well, today, everybody, I'm going to share the story with this guitar. I've had it now for 1 year, and this guitar has cured my fear of Floyd Roses. Let's get into it. So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. My name's Stay Metal Ray. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're brand new. If you feel compelled to subscribe at any point in time, I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to share this guitar with you, just tell you guys what it is, what I've done to it in terms of modifications, and after 1 year of owning this guitar, literally almost 1 year to the day, I finally have cured my fear of Floyd Roses. That is no exaggeration. I used to hate. I do not like to use the word hate anymore in my life. I'm trying to be much more positive than I already am. But man, back in the day, up until recently, I really disliked the Floyd Rose system, and it just wasn't for me. I was intimidated by it, couldn't stand it, couldn't keep in tune, all the above. And yeah, man, it was just such a bummer, and it just was not a fun time for me as a guitar player. So, what is this guitar? Man, that guitar looks cool. Look at those stickers. That's some SRV, SMR kind of crossover, little homage there. This started out as a Fender Ultra Luxe Stratocaster. These guitars were announced in 2021, and when these were announced, I was so over the moon. I couldn't believe that Fender was releasing not only Stratocasters in my favorite finish, that is silver burst, but with stainless steel frets. I was so stoked, man. But the only drawback was it had a Floyd Rose. Here's a little clip of when I did a reaction back in January of 2021. Alright, American Ultra Luxe Stratocaster. Now right off the bat, I have to say, I saw this news, but when I saw what I'm about to tell you guys, last night I was sitting down watching TV and I read it, and I looked like Vince McMahon. I looked like Vince McMahon, and I like threw myself on the ground. And yeah, man, I was so excited to see what they're offering for 2021. And the main selling point with the American Ultra Luxe Stratocaster is, in fact, jumbo, medium jumbo stainless steel frets. So when I saw that, I was just like, oh no, my poor wallet. When I saw this, I was like, this is sick. This looks like the Richie Sambora Strat or the Tom Morello Soul Power Strat. But as soon as I was like, you know what, I might buy this, but let's see what other colors they're gonna have. Of course it's silver burst. They have to do this to me. They have to do this to me. Well, you know what I mean? They have to get me. They have to want me to buy this thing, right? But man, the only thing I wish it didn't have right here, a floating Floyd Rose. I don't like Floyd Roses, I don't like whammies, I don't like trems, whatever you want to call them, but the fact that it's floating, I know if I buy this thing, it would solely be for the color scheme, and I would fight it more than I would play it. It just doesn't vibe with me, and yeah, man, it's so beautiful, and it's like a perfect Strat, a Strat that I've always wanted, a silver burst Strat with stainless steel frets, but it's got a floating tremolo system. There's a little bit younger Stay Metal Ray about almost 2 years ago now, man. How fast time is flying, right? But now, ladies and gentlemen, here in October of 2022, this guitar is now in my top 3 favorite guitars that I own. But before I continue to tell the story about how I've come to absolutely love Floyd Roses and love this guitar, let's hear what this guitar sounds like in a mix, okay? This guitar is tuned down to drop C sharp, going into the Jeff Loomis signature overdrive pedal from All Pedal, going into this lovely gold-plated dual rectifier, okay? Let's jam real quick. So as you can see in that demo song, I've become married to the Floyd. I think it sounds super rad. So West Borland of me. Now Stay Metal Ray's playing with the Floyd, right? It's so cool, dude. But yeah, man, this guitar has made me think about Floyd Roses in such a different way. So I purchased this guitar in October of 2021 from Sam Ash in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I bought it not on a whim, but as like a Hail Mary, in the sense that like it had all or a lot of the specs that I love. Like I said, silver burst, my favorite finish, and stainless steel frets. And I love Stratocasters and Fenders, etc. The only thing I didn't like was the Floyd. So it was like, unless I get like some sort of like Fender mod shop or some sort of custom shop guitar, as a production model guitar, this is probably going to be as close as it's going to get for me personally as a metal player, right? So I bought it, pulled the trigger, and I brought it home, and I got to be honest, man, more of the same with Floyd Roses and Fender guitars. So what I mean by that is this guitar was completely stock, obviously bought it brand new, but I couldn't keep it in tune. I had it in drop B at the time when I first did the demo, when I first tried to fall in love with this guitar, and I was just chasing its tail, or it was chasing its tail in terms of tuning. And I've said it a million times, it does not have a lot of output, but especially with the stock pickups, it did not have any output at all, really. To be expected, as these guitars are not designed for metal, but I love them and I want to play metal with Strats, so it was like kind of to be expected. Kind of making long story short, I've modded this thing like nobody's business. It's got a brand new pickguard on it. It has EMG 81X series pickups. Thank you so much to Tommy and EMG for sending these in. I'm so honored to be on the EMG team. It's just like a dream come true, literally. We got EMG 81X, and then we got the EMG SAX pickups right here. And then we have a master volume 5-way. We got an EMG 5-way. I swapped that out, so it's just like the quick solderless quick connect system. So after swapping out the stock pickups with some EMG pickups and a brand new pickguard, I was getting a lot closer to what I was, envisioning and dreaming of having with this Stratocaster, right? It started to have more output, but it just was not really keeping tuning that well. I fixed the tuning problems by putting 9s on this guitar. So yes, I have 9 to 42 in drop C sharp with this guitar. And for whatever reason, I picked 9 to 42s because that's all I had laying around, and I just wanted to try it because I just had the idea of like, rather than having big giant bridge cables for strings on this guitar, what would happen if I did the complete opposite and I put the lightest strings possible, relatively speaking, apart from like 8s, but you know what I mean, 9 to 42, it's pretty light, right? So what would happen if I did that, and all of a sudden, all of my tuning problems just went away. Something about having lighter gauge strings on this guitar made the Floyd and or the guitar and the tuning not fight itself, and it was just able to just chill out and just, be cool, you know what I mean? I also have to constantly lubricate the saddles and the nut as well, which is to be expected, but, having to kind of almost, I don't know, not put my ego aside, but really do a lot of maintenance with this guitar, match that with having light gauge strings, it really fixed the tuning problems. But the final problem that I had with this guitar is, again, the output or lack thereof. Enter the EMG Afterburner. I bought the Afterburner on Amazon, and I had to reconfigure and reset up the control layout on this guitar, because as you see, I still have the extra hole right there. That's where the volume knob was, and then these two holes were open. I really like having a volume knob here. I know a lot of you guys say, oh, move the knob with a Stratocaster. That's my favorite spot to have the volume knob for a Strat. It's just because it's where it's always been. It's just kind of comfortable and kind of, just feels like home muscle memory. The reason why it's in this hole right here is because the EMG quick connect wires weren't long enough and it wasn't fitting all underneath the pickguard here. So in order to make it work and make it close to the pickup selector, the volume knob, and the afterburner, it all had to be kind of right here. So that's why everything's kind of shifted down and kind of just centralized right in this location. Another reason too is because there's a battery under here as well, and the battery and the 3 different components, volume, afterburner, and pickup selector. So there's not much room left in you know, the cavity here, so it's pretty tightly jam-packed in there for sure. But everybody, this Stratocaster has made me fall in love with Floyd's and Fender metal guitars. Ever since I finally figured out this guitar and figured out how to just, you know, like I said, put my ego aside and just really just have a level of upkeep and maintenance with the Floyd, it does great, man. It stays in tune phenomenally. And this has made me have my eyes now on Charvel guitars. Like, you know, Jim Root just put out a signature Charvel. There's somebody, forgive me the name, but there's another Charvel that's like a purple with EMG Stratocaster looking thing. Charvel just put out the Sunburn kind of Super Strat as well. They also put out one that's kind of like an old school 3-tone Sunburst Stratocaster. Long story short, man, because of this guitar, I've really kind of just figured out the fact that, like, if you just maintain Super Strats, they're not that bad and they're not that intimidating. So this guitar right here, the SMR signature, it's not really signature, the SMR custom Fender Stratocaster has made me love Floyd Roses, and it really has literally cured my fear of the Floyd Rose. So everybody, after a literal year of f***ing with this thing, I finally figured out, like, the sweet spot of this guitar where it's just chilling now. I don't have to chase my tail with the tuning. It's just chilling. Everything's set in place. I have everything I could ever want. A ton of sustain, a ton of output with the afterburner. Quick connect system. I can swap out these pickups really quickly if I want to. And man, does it sound beastly. This is like the sickest Strat I've ever heard in my life. I love this guitar, man. I think it's super rad, dude. One of you guys mentioned, say, hey, this would be a cool Fender signature guitar one day. A boy could dream, right? I'd be honored to have any sort of signature guitar one day, but I'll keep trying my very best to maybe get there one day. But anyway, regardless, it's not about signature gear. It's about the love and passion for music and all things guitar, right? So this guitar is such a passion project, and I can't wait to continue to tinker with it. The sky's the limit. Who knows what I'll do with it next, but I just can't wait. All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening to me talk about this guitar. If you're brand new to my channel, you want to consider subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think of this video. I'd love to hear from you guys. I love your feedback, and I love interacting with you all in the comment section, okay? With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm Stay Metal Ray. You stay safe, stay healthy, and stay metal. And I'll see you guys next time, all right? Later.